personally. I hate him.
Oh, okay, right. We are ready to get started. Ohana, that's the last map of the map pool, folks, which means that we're refreshing the random map generator, and we'll be starting again very, very soon. I believe I can I swap these colors over? No, I can't. Then same thing has happened again, so just allow me to adjust the colors if you do not mind.
Don't worry, I got the quick recovery. Spawning down in the bottom right side, it is going to be Acer's MMA, and I gotta say, in this game, his name is NVIDIA, which, I'm trying to think of when NVIDIA was founded. I wonder if they, like, went through all the letters before the word Vidia, and I wonder if they ever thought about that one. Anyways, up on the top left side as well, it is going to be coL.Heart, who, if I'm not mistaken, currently has 1 win, but he did end up losing versus Crank in the first game.
Yep.
So, we'll see. We'll see if he can defeat MMA with with just a couple Widow Mines like we saw previously.
Yeah, now, Heart actually played a really great game against Mia. Actually, I gotta say, that was my favorite game of the tournament so far. That was so back and forth. Both guys played absolutely astonishing games. Now, in TBT, Heart's a really good TBTer, although MMA is also pretty legendary for that. And, ooh, shenanigans, I feel, because that is a Refinery First build right here from Heart.
Yep. Could very well go for early Hellions, or more likely the early Widow Mines, or maybe even going for the early Reapers right now, because remember that still in this matchup, Mass Reaper is so good. If you haven't watched much HotS and you're wondering why I keep emphasizing that, remember all the buffs that Reapers got. There's a proxy right there. So
oh my god. Proxy
or Reaper.
Yeah, either Proxy Marauder or Proxy Reaper. Reaper, I think, is more likely. What you can do in the TBT matchup, which is really effective, and I've actually lost this on ladder a few times, is you go double Barracks Reaper on one base. And you usually open up Refinery first to make sure you can support that. And it's really hard to deal with. Essentially, if you don't have a bunker down, or as you pointed out, if you don't have Marauders, you're dead. You can't deal with that.
Yeah, there's really no way. Now, thankfully for MMA, he does have the gas here. But again, Reapers now regenerate health out of combat. They can see up on the higher cliffs, and they also move faster. So, I mean, either way, the Reaper is a very viable and potent unit in the early game. Both players do have the gas going down. MMA does have his tech lab on the way, which so far everything's shaping up for being okay. This is actually going to be some sort of proxy factory play, which
what?
I gotta say, TotalBiscuit, I tried this once on an unranked ladder, and I failed miserably. Then again, I am no Heart, but it's gonna be tough. But I'm curious to see how it pans out.
This is really funky. This is actually it's super tricksy, and I always like watching Heart play, and actually Heart got a really kind of a bad reputation because he did all sorts of really cheesy, crazy stuff. Like, he would hide expansions all over the map in areas that you wouldn't expect, and he'd do a bunch of proxies and cheese, and that's exactly what I'm seeing from him here. And again, it does kind of look like Proxy Hellion, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But it's got to be making MMA think, well, what the hell's going on? I've scouted, I saw nothing, and I'm going to go check again, and I'm going to see nothing. And now, oh, wow, Heart with the wall off there as well to really prevent that from going down. And it is a Proxy...
Gonna get scouted.
Is it?
Yep, there it is, as MMA spots everything going on. Now, he's actually going to go for Hellions with the Starport. I am so curious to see if this works out. I don't think the Starport's going to be able to finish, though, because the Marauders are now here. And, you know, Widow Mines would have been a better option at this point, because all this is going to have to lift off and fly away with no chance of killing out those Marauders. All you have to do is simply lift those supply depots, and the Hellions are going to be worthless unless they manage to intercept the Reaper, which they almost do there. But right now, this is looking quite stellar for MMA.
Yeah, he can actually stop this. Yeah, he has got the Starport stopped from going down here. And the Hellions trying to make their way in. Knock, knock, who's there? Well, it's going to take a while for you to work through that. We've got Heart actually building 2 Widow Mines to try and clean out these Marauders, which is actually not enough to kill Marauders. That won't do the job. Oh, and miss... I think that was a little bit... miss micro maybe there on the Widow Mines, but it actually kills the SCV. Really great control from MMA to dodge that, and this proxy play has now been shut down here, and the Hellions did not get in. They were not able to make their way through, so really nicely done. And in the meantime, this Reaper has actually opened the door for the SCV at the top of the ramp.
Yeah, and you have to remember that the one nerf to the Reaper, if you could call it that, is they did remove the bombs that they were using to be very effective against buildings. So that Reaper really had to go to town. Even the SCV, I think, did about a quarter of the damage there.
Yeah, I think so.
But does set up the wall in once again. So this game isn't over quite yet, especially since there are 2 Widow Mines outside of MMA's base. We saw him lose a lot of units to these before. And, for example, that Marauder right there, realizing that, hey, these Widow Mines are going to be burrowed. The Marauder can clean those out with a simple scan. But again, Terrence
look at this though. I mean, this is getting so ugly here. MMA's doing such a stellar job of microing this Reaper, and he's doing Reaper Marauder, which is absolutely smashing Heart right now.
Yeah, there's no way for him to deal with it. If he gets the Hellions, they don't do damage. If he gets the Reaper, they don't do damage. And the Marines will get defeated as well here. So you can see Heart trying to pull it together, but now he has to pull all the SCVs, which is exactly the opposite of what he wants to do. And also the Marauder for MMA down there is not falling for the old switcheroo, trying to bait that unit down there. It does look like the Marauders will get taken out eventually. Which, how does the worker count settle after this? Definitely in favor of MMA.
Oh, wow. How long can you keep this Reaper alive? The question is forever when you have MMA's micro. That's 9 kills already. It's going to hop down there, take so little damage. A Widowmine coming back up here for Heart. If that was able to deploy, and it doesn't. No! It's been shot down by the Reaper. 12 kills now for this Reaper. There's so little to answer. This is a Marine coming out. Oh, looks to get the surround. Doesn't get it. MMA's control still really, really good. That Marine coming out, they might finally be able to shut this Reaper down, or it's going to get away. Oh, wow, that Reaper has 15 kills. MMA with great micro here is doing so much damage. GG! That is it. MMA puts 1 on the board with some pretty exceptional stuff there with the Reaper Marauder early gameplay.
Yeah, and it's one of those where Heart would have looked like a genius if that build worked, but unfortunately, when it gets scouted, it's just kind of like, uh-oh, well, I'm not going to be doing any damage this game, as basically, you know, the fact that he was adding on a dropship with it as well, I think really just kind of put it over the edge, because you got to remember that with the with the boosters on the medevacs, is there even any reason to proxy that? Because it's only going to be saving you a couple of seconds. And so really, he took a big risk for a little bit of a gain, and unfortunately, the big risk part of that is that if it gets scouted, it is going to get locked down. And if you look at the graphs there, you can see that there really wasn't at any point where Heart was in any way in the lead. So not going to be good for him there. And I got to say, I love MMA following it up with a Banshee at the end. I mean, he went basically as much harassment as you could. He went the Marauders rushing over there, even the SCV knocking on the door, then the Reaper, then the Banshee, and he was just one step ahead the entire time.